one of the things that I admire most about women is how strong we are. But sometimes when we're in the middle of a crisis, we tend to forget that inner power that we have, that courage, that confidence that comes with who we are. And I am so excited to have a special guest today, also a co-author of the Woman Tribe book that's coming soon, November 2nd. And we're going to be talking about overcoming adversities. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Welcome to Living Intentionally, the podcast that empowers driven women to get unstuck and to take their personal and professional lives to the next level. I'm your host, Carmen Benton. I am here to help you create the life you truly desire without burning out. And as a leading expert in living with amplified alignment between your mind, your energy, and your soul purpose, I'll be sharing valuable insights on mindset, energy, self-care, business, and much more. Plus, you get to hear from inspired women who have successfully built businesses and lives that are both meaningful and fulfilling. Join us as we dive into the topic that matter most and uncover the secrets to living intentional. Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Living Intentionally. Today, I have one of my co-authors for the Woman Tribe book, second edition, and her name is Lauren Wagner, and she is an attorney turned entrepreneur who works with women to help them build financially empowered lives. As a result of her own experience of childhood poverty and abandonment, her mission today is to ensure that no other woman has to experience the same. And Lauren is also known as the business builder and helps women build strong businesses on solid foundations to leverage their income and create money. And welcome to the show, Lauren. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Hello, everybody.
I am so excited to have you here. Lauren is a bundle of energy and light. I love her. I was in her show a couple of days ago, and it was one of those days that, I want to bring the energy, but we're human, and self-compassion is one of the things that we give each other. And just by having that conversation, like, she totally flipped my energy, and I am so thankful for that.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Oh, thankful for that. I'm thankful for you. I mean, just like you said, the energy, the sisterhood, the connection is everything.
Yeah. So, Lauren, tell us a little bit about your story. I mean, I know you talk about it in the book. We're not going to reveal all the amazing things that are in your chapter because I read it and it's amazing. And you have to get that book to read it. But I want to our listeners to know and kind of know what they're getting into a little bit with your story. Like, how did you go from poverty to, being a successful lawyer? She lives in DC and now she has this empire helping women build businesses. She has all these ideas and to make money, all the things we want. And so tell us a little bit about the story. How do you go from here to there?
Yeah, well, you know what? So, Carmen, thank you so much for having me. And my story, I feel like, is everyone's story. And I know I'm not the only person. And so that's kind of one of the reasons that I participated in this collaboration with you all and shared, my life in this chapter. So this is the first time that I'm really, not really. This is the first time that I am sharing what it was like to live as a child and grow up with a mother who was struggling with mental health and alcoholism. As a result of that, our life choices were just different. And I went through bouts of my life where I was at the bottom, where I really, as a young person, should not have been in situations that I was in. I shouldn't have had certain responsibilities. But yet I did. And somehow there was something in me that really just pushed me to fight through and to really aspire to never return to that point in my life. And so in the chapter, I really talk about very vividly given details about situations that I went through, decisions I had to make, over and over and over, from a young child to a young adult, and I don't know, mid adult, whatever you want to say after your 20s, right? I don't know what that number is anymore, right? Depend on the spectrum of life, but
Queen. That's the queenhood.
right, exactly. And it's I just had a lot of traumatic things that happened, and I just stayed committed, I'm gonna be honest, to winning. And it became part of who I was like, I had to win. And so a lot of people were playing, Monopoly, and I was playing the real game of life. It wasn't the board game life, it was the real game of life. And so for me, in order to survive, it was just win, 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 win. And then to adopt the mentality, like, to never return. And for me, everything in my mind at that time, and still now, as I think back, really related to money and the lack thereof. And when I didn't have money, or when our family didn't have money, that we were in just different situations, and we didn't have control, we didn't have power. And I remember how that felt. And I remember never wanting to feel that way again, and never wanting to be at the mercy of someone else. And so that is what my chapter really unveils. But it really, this was a great opportunity for me to introduce myself seriously and formally and officially to the world, because I have not been moving in this full space, right? Like, this is the first time that I'm pinning a lot. And when you read the chapter, like, there's a very pivotal moment that happens in my early 20s that, I mean, although I think everything that happened in my childhood really prepared me for this moment, right? But there was something that happened in my early 20s that, like, totally changed my life, and pushed me to another place. And it wasn't just me alone. And so for a long time, there's parts of me that, like, I have not openly shared. But because of those situations that I was in, it's really empowered me to be the business builder. It's really empowered me to, like, push other women, to their greatness, and to empower them and encourage them that they can, they should desire to have more. And for me, I want us all to have more, because I feel like the more you have, the more powerful you are, the more secure you are, the more comfortable you are, and ultimately the happier you are. And so I think this is a great opportunity for me to introduce myself to, I say reintroduce myself to a lot of people, because you'll understand why I'm so passionate. And sometimes people are like, God, you're a little intense, Lauren. You're a little intense. Like, I really want to do this. And I'm like, okay. And, but you'll see why I'm so intense, right? And you'll see that it's like, it's always coming from a place of love and desire. And I never want you to live in a place of lack. And it's, some people say, oh, you're all about money. And I'm like, it's not about the money per se. I'm not around here like, I'm not like Gucci'd out and Louis Vuitton out. Like, it's not like that. Like, I'd rather own some buildings. I rather, like, my money's going to go and be long money, but I'm not about just, I need the flashy money. For me, again, the money just gives me the comfort to control my destiny. Does that make sense?
Totally. And I was listening to Mary Morrissey, is one of the people's I learn mindset and all kind of amazing things from. And I always go back and listen to things that I have studied, just because when you're in a different, as you grow, you hear the same piece of information with different, in a different frequency, and you see it with different glasses. But a couple of days ago, I was listening to one of her videos, and she was talking about why money. And it really resonated with me, what she said, which was, because when you are comfortable with your situation, then you can show up in the world the way you are meant to show up. And that's what it is, right?
That's it.
And that's what we want money, just so we can then, and that doesn't mean that you have to be this woo-woo spiritual entrepreneur, which I am, but you don't have to be that. You can be a CEO in a company and still show up the way you're meant to show up, which is inspiring your people to do the best they can every day.
Right.
But if you're struggling with your financial and your bank account and what are you going to eat tomorrow, and like you, I know what that looks like, you can't be
Yeah,
creative. You can come from love. You because you are living in survival mode. Sorry,
that's
my
right. It's survival. You're always fighting. That's what I'm saying. It's a real game. It's a
Mhm.
real game of life. Like you're trying to psych yourself up every day to keep going, right? And so it's like that all equates also into the business world. You know that I know that we're talking to women who are wanting to increase their life and to increase everything that comes from them, you know, that all transfers over on the other side on the business world as well. You know, I mean, it's like, hey, so yeah,
And
it's
you know
deep.
what I really like about the stories in this book is that they're true stories,
Very.
and they are all showing the characteristics of women who have overcome something that could seem paralyzing, could seem totally like made up, but it's not, right? Because it's like so deep, so raw, so real. And it would be amazing to say, you're gonna go through something difficult, and then your life is gonna be, rainbows and roses for the rest of your life, but it's not, because as you expand and grow more, shit is gonna happen. And in this moment of my life specifically, I am so grateful I have this book with me, because obviously I got it before it went out because I'm an author. So I was able to read all the chapters, but it helped me remember that I am stronger than sometimes I know. And this is what your chapter is about. And I personally wanted to say thank you. Even the title alone is like, you know what? Coffee is better when it's stronger. And to make it stronger, it needs to percolate there. And this is what life does to you. And so I want to make sure everyone understands that these stories in this book are such that are for inspiration, transmutation, and healing. And so you need to get the book. End of story.
Yeah. I mean, Deb, you have to get the book. You have to get the book because you're going to find yourself in each and every chapter. So you may be thinking, oh, well, I've never gone through X, Y, and Z. It's not about going through necessarily the same thing. It's about feeling the same thing that I felt when I was in and out of trash cans trying to find food. Let's just put it out there, right? Maybe you've never had to do that, but maybe you felt at some point like you had that much a lack in your life, or maybe you were starving in a different type of way. There's something that's relatable, and if nothing else, you relate just by the persistence, right? The will to keep going. We all have been in a place in our life where we've had to, and as I always say, do something strange for a little change, right? Which means you may have had to do something a little different, move a little different than you would not like to move, right? We've all had to be there.
Yeah.
So we can relate to having to persist and move through things that really were meant to defeat you. And the reason I say this equates as like a businesswoman, as a parent, right? Is because you've got to be able to keep pushing through as a business owner through bad times, through hard times. When you are a parent, you've got to be able to push through, right? And especially, some of us, you and I both, we have special children, right? Who require some special love. You've got to be able to push through. And so always understanding that you're stronger than you know, and then making it a collective stronger than we know, because you don't just move out here by yourself, whether that be within your own spiritual world you're trying to work, you still need somebody else to help with that. Your business world, you need somebody else to help with that. So we as a collective, we're stronger than we know. And so if you remember that, and if you embrace that, the everything else is limitless. Like you can do anything in your life. I mean, I truly believe that. I truly believe that we can be anything that we want. It's all about being very intentional about it, right? Setting the intention, creating a vision, making it clear, and moving along a path that you have planned. Like that is applicable to any part of your life. I truly believe it.
Oh, absolutely. And your core wounds, your conditioning, like I like to call it, will
Mm.
show up in your business. I mean, there is a reason why some people don't like to sell. I mean, this lady here, she's the master of making sure, money flows. Like we were having a conversation earlier, preparing to launch this book, and she had all these ideas for sponsorships and stuff. And I'm like, girl, that's good stuff right there. And when I look, just being completely vulnerable here, which is something I have to learn to do. When I look at like, why is it that for me, selling feels uncomfortable? And I'll tell you right here, right now, because I was rejected when I was a kid by the people who supposed to love me. So for me, rejection is a dagger to my heart. And I have to consciously remind myself, even at 48 years old, even after being a former executive, even after being a successful woman. I mean, I show up in anywhere, like, Instagram, here in the podcast, in a stage. Nobody would ever think that I have these things running in my mind, but I have to consciously remind myself that that is not personal, right? This is not a rejection against Carmen, right? And so we all have these little things, right? For some people could be sales, for some people could be just even being visible, right? Like there's so many things that for some people could be even like making money, because maybe you have a trauma of someone who was wealthy or well off that put you down or bully you, and it's like, oh, I don't want to be like that, right? Like there could be so many things, but it's like you need to heal that to be able to show up in your business, which is your area of expertise, right? To be able to show up in the world and make the money that you want. It's like, why is not working? Well, what's happening in the past that you haven't healed yet?
Yeah.
I know.
Just go on it. Bam, drop the mic. That's it. That's
Yeah,
all. Boom. I mean, so get right with yourself is what we're saying. Get right
yeah,
with yourself.
yeah.
Right with yourself. You got to get right with yourself.
And I feel this book, and I know this book, is gonna do that for the
Yeah.
readers,
Yeah.
because you're right. Maybe not everyone has been on the stories. Now I'm going to tell you, because I have interviewed every single one of the authors, and the stories are in a way not similar as of the conditions, but the underlying theme is all relatable. And you are in DC. There's some co-authors in Germany, California, I mean, Alaska, Indiana. I mean, like we are Czech Republic, all over the world. We were
All
completely
over.
strangers, never met before 7 months ago. Never met in person yet. We are going to in Spain soon. Uh, but it's like mind blowing to me how we all have this common thread, which is being able to overcome difficult shit. Like, I mean, there's no other way to say it,
I mean,
right?
I was just gonna say, like, that's it. Like difficult shit. Like real but difficult shit. Like some shit that should have shut all of us down.
Yeah. And
Like
here we are smiling, successful. So even when you feel, I guess what I wanted to take out of this episode, and out of the book, is like, even when you feel that it's not going to get better, there's
yeah.
no way you're going to get through it. This is the worst thing that can ever happen. You will get through it. You will
Yeah.
get through it. So with it, you can.
Exactly. But you have, and to finish that, but you have to keep going.
Yes.
That's where we lose people. That's where we lose
Mhm.
people. So if you get your mind right to understand, yes, I can keep going. I will get through it. You've got to actually get through it. So you've got to take action. That's where people get stuck. Right. So this is what we're trying to tell you is you have to walk sometimes by faith and not by sight. It is
Mhm.
scary. It is dark. It is unclear. You literally have to convince yourself that what is on the other side, that which you cannot see, touch, or feel yet, is better than where you are now. That is hard. And
I
that is
to-
exactly, go ahead.
Go ahead, finish. No, finish.
I was gonna say that is hard, and that is
Yeah.
exactly why we have communities like this community. That's why we have this show. That's why I work with women. That's why Carmen works with women, because there's so many different pieces that need to come together to help you walk literally off a virtual cliff. And I understand the ask. So sometimes, like when women are working with me, they're like, "You don't understand." I'm like, "No, I do. I understand. I understand. I know, and I know I'm pushing you." And you're like, but there's nothing in front of me. I'm like, I know, but there's gonna be something in front of you. I promise you. And so that's what we're telling you, is that not only can you have to. You've just got to keep moving. Rest if you must. In my chapter, I share an excerpt of a poem that was on the back of my mother's obituary, and it's "Don't Quit" is the poem. And there's a part, it says like, "Rest if you must, but don't you quit, because it's when things seem rough that you must not quit."
Yeah.
Right? Like, you've got to keep going. When it's the hardest time, that's usually when you're going to have the best breakthrough, the best transformation, the best gift. It's on the other side of adversity.
It's always at the other side of adversity. And if you believe in manifestation or anything like that, then you know that in order to get that next level, your current situation needs to break so you can step up and land into this new reality that you're creating. So it is almost a requirement. It's not to scare anybody, but knowing that on the other side of adversity, there's always a better something. There's a rainbow. It's like the gold pot at the end of the rainbow, right?
There's
Always.
a rainbow.
Yeah.
Hey. There's a rainbow. I'm telling you, and that brings a smile to my face, because it's like knowing. It's just like, it reminds me of like a lot of songs I grew up listening to in church, when you just had to like really invest in your knowing of the spirit, that that the next step is going to be better. And so sometimes when like people say like, "Why are you smiling?" And you just, because I just know, I just know that every day is going to get better and better,
Yeah.
because it's gotten better. Like, you asked, how did I get myself from there to here? I just kept moving. And every time I moved, this is where you all can also help to trick your mind. Every time I took a level up, I remembered where I came from. And I was like,
How far you come.
Samaya. I was like, okay, so it got better. So then it's easier to convince yourself to keep going, because you've already said, every time I keep going, it just keeps getting better.
Yeah.
So it's like when you wake up, it's already better, because you made it from yesterday. So it's going to be better. You just made one more step.
I love that, Lauren. So, Lauren, why don't you tell the audience, because I have a lot of business women here too, that can use your genius and expertise. Why don't you share with us, what do you do, and how do you help women, and where can people find you, and all those amazing stuff?
Yes. Okay, so I am Lauren Buckner, also known as the Business Builder, and I help women build strong businesses on a solid foundation so that you can build your business income, and then we leverage it to make money babies. And so what that means is you get to work with me as your lawyer. I have 17 years experience as a business corporate attorney, and I work with you as your legal strategist and your business strategist to really identify the foundation of your business, to make sure you have all the legal pieces put in place: contracts, agreements, waivers, releases. And we look at your strategic plan. If you don't have one, we create one. And what we're doing is we're making sure that we are looking at projections. We work on those things, your marketing, so that we're building out your business 6 to 9 months ahead to create cash flow through the business. What we do then, what together, and I always say we because it's a collective, right? Is I like to work with women to really identify why they're in business and what do they want the result to be of this business. Yes, you want to be able to make money in this moment, but I want to know, where does the trajectory need to go? How are you trying to leave a legacy? Is there a legacy that you want to put in place? Because a big part of the business is creating the money babies, which are long, strong pieces of money. You take that money that comes into the business, we put them in different tranches, is what I call them, different accounts, right? And then there's an account or tranche that is just identified for investment. So now we're going to take that money and we're going to grow that money. We're going to put it either in another business, a piece of real estate. We're going to put it in a market. We're going to do something to grow it. And then we're going to take the profits of that, and then we're going to put those profits somewhere else, and we're going to grow. And we're going to continue that strategy. And what happens, if you just saw, now we've just created 3 streams because you keep the process going. Business kicks out 10% to the investment fund every 30 days, just like a cycle. So you're always pumping money in. That money goes right into that other investment arm. Whatever the profits in are, come out, go right into the next one. And then there, those last baby pieces of money are little babies. Those are the little babies that you take and go buy your expensive purses and your car, take your trip after your money has grown. So I could talk all day. I get passionate about it. The whole thing is I work with women to do just that. Take your business from here to here to here so that your money is long and strong, and so that you are never in the position where you have to scrap for your money, where you have to guess where your money is coming from. Your business is solid on the legal foundation, and we've got a great business strategy that is producing the money that you need to live the life that you desire. That's
Girl, where have you been my entire life?
But you got me now.
What I'm hearing is that you help women make their money work for them, right? Like that, right? That's what we want. Because when you keep trading hours for dollars, it doesn't matter if you are an employee or a business owner, you are a slave, right?
Yeah.
And so the only way to wealth is to have money working for you, not you working for money.
Exactly. And having a strong plan. And that's a part of what I do with women is you have to have that plan. And most business owners, men, women, it doesn't matter. They don't have a business plan. They have like an idea and they started the business. But we really take a step back, usually 9 times out of 10, no matter how old the business is. And we really start back at the business plan stage, because that is where you create that template. So yes, we want the money to work for you, but we also want you to create a business and not a job. So I want you to have a structure for your business that includes budgeting for people to come in and as part of your team. You can't do it all. That's another reason a lot of these businesses don't work, is because we don't really understand what it means to run a business. We don't work with professionals to help us, right? So what you can do is make sure you're following me on Facebook as Lauren Buckner, on social media, on Instagram, I think it's Lauren Jalay, and we're doing a little rebranding here, so it might be the Business Builder soon, but you Google me, Lauren Buckner, you're going to find me for sure, right? And then my website is bucknerconsult.com, and we'll make sure that all that's in the show notes. But please follow me. I also have a free Business Builder Facebook Lounge where I put resources in, and I teach there on Sunday nights and really talk about real issues that you're having in your business. So that's another way to get a free resource. And then also shoot me a DM. I do respond to all of my DMs. So if you have a question, shoot it over to me. Don't be out here by yourself. Don't struggle. I only exist literally right now in this capacity as a business builder for you. Like, I have repositioned my entire career. I've left the formal practice of law. I am 100% on my own. I'm creating my own agency, and it's really to work with, I want to say, the regular person, the person that doesn't know the multi-million-dollar, mentor, right? But now you get me, and I want to help you. I want to serve you. So please reach out if you have a question. I got you.
Oh my God, I love that. And you also have your show, right? Like, you have a live show. Yeah. And that's like every Thursday is when
it is every Thursday. So Beyond the Business Basics is my show on Facebook, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's always up for replay every week. And I'm really excited about the show because I'm just finishing my first season, like 21 episodes, which is crazy. We're going to take a pause, and when we come back, it's going to be very new and dynamic. And so this next season is going to be great. So you want to make sure you tune in, catch up on all the replays while we're on vacation, and then you'll be ready to fall right in line.
Love it. Love it. And so when I've been doing this author series, by the way, you also have to go, and you want a reason to start tuning into Lauren's show. A reason is to go watch my episode in her show too, and all the other authors that are going to be happening the week of November 6th. Perfect. And so I like to end these author episodes with one question to the authors. By the way, this is she doesn't know what I'm going to ask her, so
Oh,
here
that's
we
how I was like,
go.
let me sips water.
What is yes, you can think about it. What is one reason you can tell the our listeners for them to go get this book? If you can put it like in one sentence or paragraph, what is one reason?
Oh my gosh. It's one sentence. Um, well, you should go get this book so that you can see yourself in the life, in the words, in the eyes of other women who've experienced similar events, but who've used those pains to pivot into their power and also into their gifts. Right? I think that's why you go. I think that's why you go to and get the book. That's why you listen to it. That's why you share it with other women so that you can see yourself, because you will see yourself and you'll see us all take all the pain and we pour it into ourselves and we pivoted it into our power. And you
Yeah,
can.
I love that. There's no many books that I have read where I feel the energy, the intentionality, the um, healing power
Yeah.
that this book has. So it's going to be available in Kindle, and then you can get your hard copy. I am a person who likes to have both because I travel a lot. So my iPad always have all the books that I love, but then when I'm home, I like to hold the actual book. And so you're welcome to get both.
Yeah.
No
You
one
should get both.
stops.
You should get both. Listen, we're asking you. This is another thing. Be intentional, right?
Yep.
We're asking you to get both, right? It helps us. It helps you. We need you to get both. We need you to get that Kindle. We need you to get the Kindle, all right? And we need you to get the paperback. And then we need you to maybe order one more extra paperback and give it to just a good friend, a good sister, a good
What a
cousin.
great Christmas gift.
What a great gift. I'm talking, I mean, like this is how you help your sister girls level up. This is what we call not being a gatekeeper. When you find something that's good for you, you share that with your circle, because your circle needs to be healthy if you're going to be healthy. I mean, there's a whole lot. Come on now. Like, you don't want me to get to preaching up here, but I'm telling you, don't hold the good word to yourself. Get that good word out there. Share the good word with your sisters. Yes.
I love it. Well, I cannot think of a better way to end this episode than can't wait to hear from you on what is your biggest takeaway for the book. I would love for you to go to Lauren's chapter, read it, send her a note in Instagram or Facebook, tag her as you're reading her book, as you come up with a big realization of the beautiful things that she shared. Does the same with my chapter. And I love you guys. I can't wait to see you next week. You're going to see in the next couple of weeks amazing footage and behind the scenes things of the amazing time we're going to be having in Spain as we are gearing up to celebrate live the launch of the book. But yes, this is going to be amazing. And you, for being part of my audience, going to get a behind the scenes of everything that's happening, not to mention Egypt too, but that's not the book related.
Ooh,
Uh,
exclusive.
yeah, so excited. And anything you want to end on your side, Lauren?
No, listen, I've just had a great time. Thank you so much for having me here on your show and for sharing me with your community. I know that we're all very guarded with our people, so it is an honor that you've had me here today. And I'm hoping that someone who has heard me or seen me today has just been touched, motivated by just at least one thing that I said. And that if anything, if nothing else, that you're stronger than you know.
I love it. I'm glad you ended that way. I love you guys. See you next week. Bye-bye. Hey there. Thank you for tuning into today's episode of Living Intentionally, the podcast where we explore ways to live with purpose and fulfillment. If you're new here, make sure to hit the follow button so you never miss an episode. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at the Carmen Benton. I'm your host, Carmen Benton. I'll be back next week with more insights and inspiration.